Välkommen till Musikalpodden med Viktoria Tocca.
Welcome to Musikalpodden, the musical podcast of all musical podcasts. Judith Caspari!
Thank you so much.
You are going to open our alcohol-free Prosecco. I'm not sure if it's it's some kind of Prosecco cava sparkling wine situation.
So let's see. I don't want to break anything here.
Okay, you think you're going to be like very...
Oh, I have cream on my hands.
No, you're doing really well. Oh my God, you're such a professional. And look at these nice glasses today.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yes, Kyle didn't dry them properly, but he says they're going to get wet anyway. So.
And then I said from the inside, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Not from the outside, but and there's a little... I think there
what
was
did he
some
do?
orange juice in it.
Ew, Kyle.
Very glamorous.
Yeah, why do we let the boys do this? Okay. All right.
I think now it's gone.
Okay. Maybe they've had like mimosas in the morning.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I mean, a little piece of orange. It's
a bromance mimosa morning for the pod boys.
That sounds romantic.
Anyway, cheers and welcome.
Skål!
Judith Caspari.
So much.
Yay.
Thanks for having me. So
okay,
good.
I feel better already.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very festive, you know, in a nice glass.
Like New Year's. Or
this is kind of New Year's-y. We're not at New Year's, though. It's October, so...
Not yet, yeah. But the time is flying.
The time is flying. And I'm really excited that you're here. For those who don't know, you are from Germany. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest musical stars in Germany. And we've known each other for several years now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
Now. It's crazy.
It's so much fun. But now we're finally working together as well. Because you are part of our 2025 Från Broadway till Duvemåla. Mm-hmm. Yes. How are you finding Sweden?
It's lovely. It's wonderful. I mean, I knew the country and I knew Sweden a little bit before.
Yeah.
Because I have a house here and I never lived here permanently, but I'm going to Sweden more and more often. But working with Swedish people actually surprised me so much more.
Really?
I was really much looking forward to it. But it's amazing how much respect you guys have for each other and how much you share it. And yes, how professional and how balanced work is here. I really love the atmosphere in this group also, but also with the team. I immediately had the feeling and you all welcomed me with such open arms. Oh. And I always felt seen and heard here in the production. And I'm really, really thankful for this great experience.
Oh,
yes.
That's so nice to hear.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between Germany, you think? Then, but I think maybe also it's because this is in a way a smaller production because you've been in these ginormous shows in Germany, such as Anastasia, Tarzan, Wicked, and so I'm kind of thinking that might be more like big machines in a way, here it's very familiar and everyone is like. Yeah, very close and...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bit different, of course, also in those big productions in Germany. I used to work with a lot of American and British people. They were always quite open and quite nice and always doing this kind of small talk. But German people from the theaters directly or colleagues from Germany, we can be a bit quiet about stuff. Oh. Yes, and I expected that from Swedish people as well, because also Swedish people are not the most outgoing people most of the time. When you meet them on the street, you're not doing
now
any...
you're working with Martin Redenord. So.
Exactly, and with all of you guys, it's wonderful. But I still expected people to be a bit more quiet and not as outgoing as I felt now, or as I'm feeling right now in this production. Yeah. And it's, of course, it also happens in Germany that people come up to me and they be like, "Hey, great job, you did well." Yeah. But I felt so appreciated here from day one.
Oh,
and of course, I was quite excited and nervous about it because here in Sweden nobody knows me. Yeah. And of course, it's also for you a big risk because no one knows me here in that country. And it paid off so well, and I'm feeling so seen and accepted and loved by the whole group.
Oh,
And
that's really nice. How
really
do you
nice.
feel about like the Swedish audience? Because you're on tour, so you get to go around big parts of Sweden. But how do you think the Swedish audience compares to the German audience? Is there any difference?
I was really surprised how much they celebrate, how fast they're standing during our last songs, and how much they're applauding. Of course, it depends from city to city.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have the feeling, oh yeah, this audience is a bit quiet, which doesn't mean anything bad. Sometimes they're just listening really well, and they're really in the moment and really enjoying.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's like a party group who are standing up and celebrating and cheering so much for all of us. But yeah, it's a really outgoing audience, and I have the feeling they know a lot of musical. Of course, in Germany, when I do musical shows or musical concerts especially, of course they know all the repertoire. But here I have the feeling, for example, when we had our shows at Draken in Gothenburg, that it was more common in society to go to musical evening, even if you're not that specific musical groupie or musical fan. It's just a manner. You just go out at night and have a date, and then you go to this musical show Från Broadway till Duvemåla.
From Broadway to Duvemåla. Look at your Swedish. You're doing so
getting
well. Yeah, you're
better.
even speaking a little Swedish in the show.
Yes,
How is the Swedish going?
It's good.
Det går bra?
Ja, det går bra.
Ja.
Det är lite svårt för prata svenska för mig.
Ja.
Because I have to learn more vocabularies now. But I'm always so busy that I never find the time.
And they're not teaching you anything on tour? Or
yes,
just
but
the bad stuff?
I can say that now.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
But you know what I mean. No.
Great.
Of course, Alma is helping me out a lot.
Alma is a sweetheart.
I'm always like, she's my Swedish teacher. Then I also teach her some German because she loves Germany so much. So we're doing a little exchange every day. And
don't listen to the others. That's probably a bad idea.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
I'm like, let's just X out Martin and Malena. That's not a good idea.
They're all so lovely. They're so wonderful. And it's such a colorful and wonderful group of people and different characters, and it's just feels like a field trip, because also at school you're thrown together with so many different people, and somehow you have to get along, but it's so much fun, and you have to adapt and find this group energy, and it's wonderful. It's such a nice group.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite numbers in the show this year?
I have to say, as a solo number, probably Journey to the Past, because it's such a special song, and I'm getting emotionally almost every night when I'm thinking how far this song already brought me. It brought me to New York, it brought me to Germany, now to Sweden. And whenever I introduce myself as a musical singer, I always bring this song. So, of course, I'm super thankful that I can present myself. It's also probably in the beginning of the show. So it's also a nice start for me to go on stage and be like, hey, this is me. Yeah. This is how everything started for me in my musical career with this song. So that's a big moment all the time. But then also those group numbers, Dancing Through Life in Wicked, it's hilarious. We're doing funny choreography. We're afterwards we're having a wonderful ensemble version of Defying Gravity, which is so cool to do with everyone. But for the ensemble parts, I couldn't really decide because it's so much fun with everyone, and the arrangements are wonderful.
No, I feel like I've seen the show several times now, obviously, but I feel like you have a really, really nice group energy, and that everyone is really enjoying their time on stage in this show. And I think that's something that's been very significant for From Broadway to Duvemåla from the start. And just, but it is a little bit scary as a producer every year to put together a new group of people and to see how that's going to work, because, you know, you just have to change one person for the whole energy in a group to change and just to see how that fits together. But I think it's a really, really lovely group of people this year.
Yes. You did a great job.
We've always had nice groups of people. It's just, there are different colors or, you know.
And different atmospheres and different sparks. Like, I'm sure every group has its own spark.
But it feels very, like, happy and joyful in a way.
Yeah, and I think we're all trusting each other and helping each other out during quick changes. And it's always adventurous and fun. And nice.
I wish that people could actually see. I mean, I don't want them to see you half naked behind the stage. That's not what I mean. But just how much is going on behind the stage because of all the quick changes. There's a lot of costumes in this show.
It's crazy.
Have you counted how many?
No, but we're having, for every different song, we're having different outfits. I didn't count the songs yet.
Probably, I don't know, but it's probably like 10 at least for each person.
10, 12.
Or for the girls.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's a lot of costumes.
Definitely. And I have one dress, the Glinda dress, the pink one. It's beautiful. But it has like circles as a structure. It has like circles on the dress, like little ruffle circles. And they sometimes get stuck in my zipper in the back. And during our premiere in Stockholm, I almost didn't get out of the dress. And I was standing there like this. And it didn't work. And then I just had to rip it open, being dramatic for a moment. Yeah. And then getting my other dress on. Yeah, it was crazy.
It happens.
Yeah.
But to sort of summarize, you're having a good time in Sweden.
Oh yes, it's wonderful. I was so much looking forward, but now I'm even more surprised about how nice it feels and how good,
I'm so
this
happy.
adventure is for me.
No, because it was such a fun thing for me when we started talking about this possibility. And that it actually worked out. Yeah, I'm very happy to have you in the show.
Yeah, and we needed to plan a lot and make decisions. And of course, I also had to take the decision, no, I'm not staying in Germany for a little while. I'm taking some time off there. But I don't regret it at all.
Do you know what you're doing next after you're done with From Broadway to Duvemåla?
Yes, I'm first taking a few months of a break in Sweden. I'm really much looking forward to that until spring. And it's actually the first time I'm doing this in my job since a few years. And now I was just like, no, I need a few months just to breathe. Yeah. And I'm really, really much looking forward to it. And then in springtime, I'll be back in a city called Magdeburg. It's not too far away from Berlin. And it's a musical about the resistance group in the Second World War in Germany, the Weiße Rose. I don't know if you heard about them. The White Rose, yeah, exactly. We already did it in another city a few years ago as a tryout, and it got really successful. And we produced a CD, and we're nominated for a few awards in Germany. And now we're taking the show at another place in Germany, in East Germany. Of course, politically, it's also really interesting to do that show, and also very important playing this resistance group, and also bringing that issue to musical a bit more. I think that's an important step.
Yeah, and definitely since, where we are in the world at the moment, it feels like it's a good reminder of
yes, exactly.
what people can accomplish if, standing up to...
Yeah, if you speak up and what happens if you're starting to think about stuff and how it also happened. At that time. I think it's a very important reminder for all of us that we're not that far away from these times.
No, that's very, very true. Yeah. But also comparing Germany to Sweden, being in those big productions you've been in, you've played 8 shows a week for years.
Yes.
And that's something that a lot of our Swedish colleagues don't really ever get to do or understand that kind of pressure. I worked in Germany for a few years in the beginning of my career, also 8 shows a week, and it's something completely different. And I think one of the things that we've all been very impressed with, but especially I think the other performers who haven't had this experience, is how you always come to rehearsals so happy, well prepared, even though you're the person who've worked the most. Like I remember during rehearsals, you had worked 8 shows in Germany. You flew in on a Monday morning to rehearse in Sweden on Monday, and sometimes a bit in Tuesday, flying back to play another 8 shows. And always with a smile on your face and always, like in a good mood. And then we had some of the Swedish people, being like, it's Monday morning. And they had, So that's impressive. And I think I understand that you need a bit of a break.
Yeah, and you get used to everything. At that time, I was really used to that pace and to be in that tempo. And I love these phases in my life. I love how I'm functioning. Maybe you know it as well, because I think you're a little bit the same as me in that situation. Or if it's about that, like living the pace and feeling it, also makes you a bit addictive in a way. And that's why I decided for now it's fine. I had it for years and I will have it in the next few years as well, of course, for other big projects.
But how do you feel now having so much time off compared to like when you worked in Germany? Because you're basically on vacation.
I am on vacation. It feels weird. I have to accept it. I have to get used to it.
What do you do with your time?
I'm knitting. Sometimes I'm reading, I'm knitting. A few days ago I was at our house in Småland. I was cleaning the house for 2 days straight to be back there. And we have a lot of stuff to fix there and to decorate and painting walls. And I'm probably going to be super maniac about that. And just create the house of my dreams.
Project. Yeah.
Yes.
But how come you decided on Sweden? Like, what is this fascination with Sweden for you?
Honestly, Sweden was never in my mind. I've never been to Sweden a few years ago. And we had, my boyfriend and we have this wonderful friend of ours. And he was having a huge breakup 10 or 15 years ago. And he was starting to do a big hike in Sweden. And he started in south of Sweden and then went up to Småland and got out in that village where we're living now. And he was hearing beautiful church music and was falling in love with this place. And then he asked a person about an apartment that he could rent for summer to live there for a few weeks. Yeah. And the person told him, "You don't rent in Sweden, you buy." And then he showed him, I mean, that's probably what people do on the countryside.
Yeah, maybe.
And then he was showing him a very beautiful little old schoolhouse where he moved in and bought the house for a very cheap price at that time. And that's how we found this place as well a little bit. And then next to that house, there was another house on to sell. They were offering us the house, and then we were saying like, okay,
so now you
quite
have like
nice.
A little German village in Småland.
Yes. We said no more Germans in the village, and I have to say I'm really, really thankful for our Swedish neighbors. They are the best, and we needed like 1 or 2 years, and now they are like family. They showed up on my concerts here with roses, and it felt like, because my family didn't come to Sweden to the premiere, which I totally understand. Sweden is not that close. It's totally fine. But when they were showing up on my premiere or now in Kalmar at a concert, it felt like family is coming and visited me.
Nice.
And it's a really huge gift. We have like this community in our village. It's the most wonderful thing I've ever experienced and never asked for.
Yeah.
I was always living that big city life and being very anonymous with my neighbors. And now we have this great community. It's really
really nice.
wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll probably enjoy your first Swedish Christmas then in your house and do the whole Swedish Christmas thing. Okay, we'll have to talk about that when you get there.
You have to introduce me to all the wonderful Christmas traditions.
Absolutely. Do you know about Lucia, or is that going to scare you?
It's quite scary, and my boyfriend is really afraid of fire, so I think we can't do it. Like wearing a crown with candles.
With candles. I mean, you can watch it.
Yes. I don't know.
And you can watch it on TV.
Has to leave the room.
No, you can watch it on TV. That's fine. There's usually concerts on TV that you can watch.
Which date is it? It's
December 13th.
13th, okay.
Yes.
So, yeah. Oh,
very important day.
Yes,
in Sweden,
it's crazy.
So. Yeah.
But would you say Christmas Day is more important still than Lucia, or is it a bit more
but it's Christmas Eve, so the 24th is when we celebrate.
Same in Germany, yeah.
But Lucia is the second most important day in December, I would say. It's a lot of beautiful singing and...
I can imagine.
Yeah, ginger cookies and
Candles.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'll help you celebrate.
You'll teach me.
I'll teach you.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't necessarily listen to everything that Martin is telling you, though.
Oh, no.
I'm just
Maybe I already did.
No. He was on the Midsummer special.
I saw that.
Did he explain to you what he was singing on that?
Probably
podcast?
Something pervert.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I didn't understand what exactly, but I was thinking this is something pervert for sure.
Perverted. Yeah. It's funny.
And
but you have to have that kind of humor.
It was like a song you were singing for a toast. And
Snapsvisa.
Snapsvisa.
Yeah, have you done Snapsvisa?
Never. I never celebrated a proper midsummer here. Because
we're going to have a proper midsummer next year. And have you had a crayfish party?
No. I only bought the decoration because I think it's so cute. Hanging just crayfish decoration in your apartment. But we were never celebrating.
It doesn't really count unless you actually eat the crayfish and drink the schnapps. But we'll do it. We'll do it.
Yes, please.
We'll teach you everything.
Yes,
cheers.
To that. Cheers.
But we have talked about your full career in a YouTube show that I did during the pandemic that I call Tocca Talks.
Yes.
But I feel like we should still rewind the tape a little bit for the Musikalpodden audience, unless they haven't found that show on YouTube. This is also taped for YouTube, by the way, so you can listen. You can listen on Spotify or where podcasts are broadcast, but we also film it for YouTube. But you started out as a classical singer or with classical training.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That was also a bit random. I never had a lot of singing lessons in my life before I studied. I think I started with 17 having singing lessons. It was never really on my plate becoming an artist. I always knew...
What did you want to do? Or what did you think you wanted to do?
It was very clear to me that I wanted to do something with music.
Okay.
But I never thought that you could live from it being an artist and working in a theater. I was not at the theater very often when I was young. Yeah. I was singing a lot in the choir and just enjoying singing and making music, but always in a group and always together with people. Yeah. And then I started at school singing more and more solo songs, and then really standing on my own on stage and always doing the songs for special occasions at school. But with 17, I started I was part of the project, like a youth project, and we did Spring Awakening together. Oh. And that was my first musical experience that I did, or my first musical theater or experience on stage and being an actress and singing, mixing up everything together. And at that point, of course, then I also met a few people who were already working in the business, who were studying that at universities. And then I thought you can actually live from it sometimes. And you can actually do it. Why shouldn't I just try it? Because I also didn't have a really good other plan. I always felt myself attracted by music and by theater and by art, but I never really knew what to do with it until that point. And I also didn't freak out too much. At that time, I wasn't really doubting or thinking too much, which is crazy, that I didn't get panicked at 16 or 17 that I didn't know what I wanted to do. And when I think about it now, I'm thinking like, oh, crazy that you didn't panic. That you just...
Yeah, but sometimes, that's like the joy of youth, I think. Being a bit naive and just like...
Yeah, exactly. And being like, it will be fine. No worries.
I mean, I will honestly say that if I would have known everything that would be thrown at me when I started producing, I probably wouldn't have done it. But because I had the same sort of naive thought about it, like, how hard can it be?
Yeah, let's do it.
And then you just do it.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think that's the way to go. Like,
and
don't...
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Look, where are you now? Where are you now? And it's crazy. And then I also met a few wonderful women who were always supporting me and my voice. I had lessons with a wonderful classical opera singer. My choir teacher, she pushed and supported me so much. And my singing teacher, when I was 18 and school was almost over, she was actually asking me and thinking like, well, would you like to study it, or would you like to go into the musical theater direction, or would you prefer doing opera? And then I was a little bit too scared to enter the musical theater scene, because I was at that time, I mean, I'm still small and blonde, and I was a bit too afraid to be put in a box too much in the musical genre. That was my thought. I didn't know the scene very well, and I also didn't dance a lot at that time. So I was thinking like, no musical theater, but why shouldn't we try opera? And she was an opera singer, so she was teaching me opera singing. She was introducing me to some people at universities, and long story short, then I ended up studying classical music in Essen at a really, really wonderful university, where you could sign in for lessons. And if you didn't do that, to sign in for your private lessons, then you also didn't have class for weeks. So you really had to decide on your own what you want to do and what kind of style or genre you want to learn, and what kind of classes you want to take. So it was also really good for me, because then I always sang a little bit musical theater for myself and practiced that a little bit, and just worked on a lot of genres, even if I studied classical singing officially.
Yeah. And then you ended up in the lead, the original German Anastasia.
Yes, exactly.
And this is such a crazy story to me. So I think we have to do it, because it was one of those, as I understand it, like Anastasia is coming to Germany as a musical. It was a huge production. And they were really on the search for, finding their Anya. And just take us through that whole process.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was after or during my bachelor. I studied that for 4 years, was working in an opera house, at an opera studio, doing both classical and musical roles, but already feeling that the classical world isn't for me, or that I don't feel right there. I did a few opera auditions and always felt that there's something missing for me, and that I wanted more and bigger roles, and I wanted to act more. And it was always fascinating how classical singing worked, but I already felt something was off. And then my boyfriend again, he came
same
in.
Boyfriend?
Same boyfriend. As today, Philip, it is. And he was working in Stuttgart at a theater, and I was visiting him in the city where also Anastasia was theater of Anastasia was. And there was like a big poster that it was coming to the city next year.
Yeah.
And when he came home at night, he was like entering the room and saying to me, Judith, they're doing Anastasia in Germany. You have to apply to audition. I was thinking like, yeah, I know it's like my favorite movie when I was a child. I was always watching this movie and I was feeling so close to Anya and Anastasia. Sorry. And then we looked it up and there were some open auditions on the website, but the deadline was already over. Since one day. But I was still writing the casting team and writing like, hey, I'm Judith Caspari, like being super naive, just writing to them like, hey, I'm a classical singer, but I would love to audition for you. And I'm sure I would be great in that role.
And they're like,
super naive.
Okay.
Yeah. But the caster was writing back to me in a very wonderful and kind way. But there were so many people who applied for that audition so that they didn't have any free slot anymore. So I was a bit disappointed, but thought like, okay, I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's a big musical audition. Yeah. Something else will come up. And then I think it was March 2018, 2 weeks before the audition, or 1 week, I can't remember it well enough. They wrote to me that there was one person who called in sick or that she can't make it for the audition, so I could use her slot. Yeah. So thanks, whoever it was, to call in sick. Thanks. And then I was studying during the day and singing opera, and then at night I was locking myself in the rooms and secretly singing musical and trying out how to belt and how to sing that repertoire. But I was really, really shy to tell my teachers and everyone else at university. So I was really like hiding and practicing the musical stuff in like the last room of the building. And then I think I had to do 3 rounds, but I still remember the associate director, Carleen Brouwer. I still have a really close bond with her. Also another woman. I always have the feeling whenever wonderful things in my life are happening, I'm getting supported by amazing and strong women. Just by the way, it's really always like that. And I still remember when I came into the room during the first round, I don't know, there was something in the air and we looked at each other and all of a sudden she was sitting there like that. Yeah. And looking back to that moment, I know that in that moment she knew I was probably the one. She didn't have to hear me sing or see me act anymore. It was decided, kind of. Of course, I still had to do the auditions and do 3 rounds. And of course, I wasn't that secure about my musical singing as I am now. Right. I needed to learn a lot. And even during the show, I had to work on my voice so much because I was so scared to use my chest voice all the time. And then for 8 shows, you have the same background, right, with the classical singing. Right. And whenever people from the classical scene are thinking about musical, they're always talking about screaming and how it's screwing their voice and how you destroy your voice with musical singing. So
unless you know how to do it.
Exactly,
that's the whole point.
Yeah. And that's what I was finding out. And I was realizing, okay, it's actually really nice technique and it suits my voice really well. Yeah. And it was a crazy, crazy journey. And I still remember when I got the call after the 3rd round, I had to Google the position first cast because I wasn't sure if it was really the first cast position or if it meant I was something the first else. Cover. And then I was also talking with friends and family and I was saying, they offered me first cast. Do you think it's really like the main role and the main character? And I'm really like the principal now? Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I really
How
couldn't
old were you?
24.
Yeah, so
quite
also
young.
Really young.
Yeah. At that time, I didn't feel it, but now when I'm looking back, I was a baby. I was a baby. Yes, yeah. I learned a lot.
But what a wonderful way to start, though.
Yes,
and because I feel like I was 24 when I got Christine in Phantom, and I think one of the most wonderful things about having such a big role in a show at that age is that everyone else around you is older and more experienced and sort of there to support and help you. And so I feel like my 2 years at Phantom was 2 of the best years in terms of just learning so much about the business. And and my Madame Giri, she had played Christine when she was young.
Oh.
So she had like a lot of like singing things that she would like tricks because there are a couple of places in Phantom where you know, you stop singing and there's something going on and then you just have to pick it up but on another like from nothing. And like my reasoning was like, well, I guess it's just going to come from muscle memory. Like I have no idea, but hopefully it will work.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Because if it doesn't, this is going to sound shit. But like, and she just, you know, gave me some pointers on how to like try to, you know, like how to do it. Really. And those are things that you can't be taught in school. You have to be out working and you have to be around people who have already been around for years and years and years. And that's such a gift. Yeah. And I think that's one of the most wonderful things I feel with this business in general is how very often people take such good care of each other. And like the older generation, like we work over generations, over you know, skin color or, you know, all these things. And we learn from each other and we help each other. And I think that's one of the things that I treasure the most in the musical theater community. Like I can't speak for opera or theater. I'm sure there is, you know, similar feelings about that, hopefully. But I feel like that's really significant for the musical theater people.
Yeah, I totally agree. Also, that of course you feel the age and how much a person next to you has worked. You just feel the experience, but still, it always feels like an ageless group. And that's what I love so much. I have friends and colleagues who are 20 years older than me or 10 years younger, and you don't care. You're just a group of people and you just become friends and you just become close and share your life with them. And that's so beautiful that,
because
that we have
you also
that.
have a common goal. And I think that's a really nice thing. How do you feel about, because I'm not saying you're getting old, but you're getting, I mean, you had more experience now and you've done more things. For example, now working with Alma, who is the baby in From Broadway to Duvemåla, she's quite new. Yeah. Do you feel like you can share experiences with her or...
Yeah, in that case, I have to say I am asking her a lot of questions because of the language sometimes. But she's an absolute pro and she also feels already experienced, maybe because she's also working next to the musical scene in another job. So I feel she feels a bit more mature than her actual age. I sometimes have the feeling. So at that point, I didn't really feel it. But with some people... a few weeks ago with Tarzan, with the production, I could really feel when new people were coming in. Or for example, we had a wonderful, she's still in the show, a wonderful Jane cover who just turned 24, like my age, and she just finished school and she was doing the Jane cover now. Absolutely phenomenal, such a beautiful voice. And you could see her spark and how
she's a baby.
Yes, she was a baby, and when I looked back at her, it also reminded me about how young and how it sounds so weird, but how innocent and naive I was that time. Yeah, and it really reminded me about how young I actually was, and it also. Showed me how crazy it actually was doing this job at that age. It's still young.
Because Anastasia also took you, like you talked before, you went to New York to do promos for us.
Yes.
I've seen the video.
No.
It was like Anastasia's from several different
Yeah,
countries.
yeah.
So what happened there?
It was my first job I had to do for stage entertainment because it was still a secret in Germany that I was doing, that I was the one chosen to be Anastasia in Germany.
Yeah.
And then I was just invited to New York seeing the show. Christy Altemar, lovely person, she showed me the theater, I got introduced to the cast.
Yeah.
We were also afterwards like meeting for coffee, and it was just so lovely. They were all so nice. And then we had a photo shoot and interviews with Playbill, Broadway.com, like for every musical TV station or newspaper there was in New York, which was also crazy. And then we shooted that video. It was a medley from In My Dreams and Journey to the Past in every language.
Yeah.
It was Hannah from Spain, Christy and Laila from Broadway and the tour, and me from Germany.
Yeah.
And we also got to record the song together with Stephen Flaherty in the studio. And of course, at that time, I didn't even know who he was. Of course, I knew he was the composer, but I was coming from that classical bubble and thinking like, oh yeah, he's the composer of the show. And now when I'm looking back, I'm thinking like, oh wow, you just tried out your belt for the first time in front of Stephen Flaherty in that famous studio where everyone is always singing from Broadway. But then,
again, I think that's probably
it was
a
probably
superpower.
good. Yeah,
it's really good to not know sometimes.
Yeah, it's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And they were all super nice, and it was so cool. And I still remember when I was standing there at Broadhurst Theatre in my gorgeous dress that we were allowed to keep afterwards. And I was just standing there and still remember, and I'm so happy that I took the time there to breathe that moment in. And I really thought, like you did, you have to enjoy that moment now because this moment, it's a one-of-a-lifetime moment and it won't happen to you that often. Appreciate it and breathe it in now. Yeah. And I can still remember that moment so well, how I was standing there and everything was super hectic and loud next to me, and I was just enjoying that view and being so thankful for that moment. It was really amazing.
Yeah. And for anyone who's interested, you can actually find that clip on YouTube.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You should go and watch it. It's really, really pretty.
Thanks, yeah.
But you've also had some other amazing roles that a lot of... Yeah, we should probably get more of this.
Little top up.
Yeah, let's do a top up.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm such a horrible host.
No.
But I think usually you're supposed to do it because you opened the bottle. But anyway...
we share the load.
We share the load.
Skål again.
You have done some of the, like other dream roles for a lot of young musical theater performers. Yeah. And right now, I think the one that is on my mind and that is also very current is obviously Glinda in Wicked.
Yeah.
And in Germany, you did your own version of the show in terms of costumes and was it the first time it was allowed to do a different version than the Broadway and West End version?
Yeah, I think the big, not scandal, but the big topic about that production was that usually when you have that kind of show with stage entertainment in Germany, you have the original production, just like with Anastasia or Tarzan. It usually gets played on West End or Broadway before, and then stage entertainment is buying it for the German audience, just as it is, just casting the people in Germany or from other countries, but having your German cast there.
Yeah.
So it was, there was big excitement in the musical scene for that production.
Yeah.
And it was really, really interesting working on a new production like that. And I saw the show before. I didn't grow up with it. So it was probably a bit easier for me to adapt to that version.
Yeah.
But it's crazy doing Wicked from scratch and just seeing other costumes, seeing a different setting, but still doing the same scenes and singing the same songs. Yeah. You still have that sacred Wicked feeling. And probably you in Sweden know it a bit more because you have oftentimes you have your own productions and your own versions here. For example, the Evan Hansen or Kinky Boots, for example.
Yeah.
So probably the Swedish audience is a bit more used to it. In Germany, you keep repeating the old shows that work well, but with the original productions.
Yeah.
Not that Germany is not experimenting at all. They're also doing great shows like and Juliet and really doing, or Hamilton. They did Hamilton for 1.5 years. But the German audience always love the original productions.
Right.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah. But how was it playing Glinda?
It was lovely. I was a bit scared before because it was the first time for me playing comedy.
Yeah.
And I still remember, I think I was growing a lot into it. And I was alternate at that time. So I had a first cast Glinda who was doing the main rehearsals and who was doing the premiere. And of course, at that point I was young. I was really ambitious. I was like, I want to be the first cast Linda, of course.
Yeah.
There's always this struggle. But she's wonderful and she's lovely. And I'm so thankful now that at that time I was alternate Glinda because I could watch her first.
Right.
Then having some security and feeling much more safe in the comedy and also sitting in the audience and seeing what works, what isn't working.
Right.
And that helped me a lot with the comedy. Singing-wise, I had the feeling I could get up at night and then sing those Glinda notes. And it was so nice. It was such a cool mix of trying out how Glinda can belt really much and use a lot of chest voice and then use her opera voice for that. And we actually had a lot of rehearsal with Steven Schwartz.
Wow.
And then I was asking him why actually does Glinda have that opera sound sometimes? Is it like, I always thought because she's mainly using the sound when she's talking to the audience, if it's like a style that she's representing someone, that she's the leader of the group now. I was asking him that and he was like, oh yeah, that's actually a really nice idea. But to be honest, Kristen Chenoweth just wanted to sing high notes. So I wrote them to her. That was so hilarious and so cool that it was a very easy explanation.
Yeah.
But this is actually, even if it sounds a bit flat with that explanation, it's wonderful how versatile you have to be as Glinda. You have to be funny, then all of a sudden you have to show that loneliness, that broken heart she actually has.
Yeah.
And also switching the voice style and voice
But
technique
it's really
so much.
interesting to hear you talk about that and how he explained it to you as well.
Crazy.
Because I feel like there is so much going on like social media and stuff now, trying to break down every single thing about Wicked because of the movie, and where that's one of the, like, your explanation kind of like, well, when she is, I think what I've seen on social media now is that when she is the most fake, she sings with her high opera voice.
Exactly.
You know, like when she's
That's what I
trying
thought
to
as
be
well.
when she's trying to portray herself as something that she thinks she needs to be rather than what she actually is.
Yeah.
That's when she's using her like classical
operatic,
voice and I mean, I thought there was a really deep meaning to the whole thing.
Yeah,
so that's
me
really
too.
funny.
Exactly.
That he's like, no, she just wants to sing high notes. So there you go.
Yes, and of course maybe
it
it was
works
also
really well.
maybe it was also very extreme and also a little bit of a joke from him because of course when you're writing all these notes, of course it has a meaning somehow. Yeah. But I was really analyzing it and thinking like during Thank Goodness, why is she doing that high note in the end? What could that mean? Yeah. And then him telling me, no, actually Kristen just wanted to sing more high notes because she enjoys doing that a lot, obviously. Yeah. And that was really, really funny and a great experience to have him there. And he was sitting on his piano a lot and playing all the chords and then always speaking to it, singing to it. I'm still getting goosebumps from it. It was a great, great gift.
Yeah. Are there videos of it? Were you allowed to film anything?
No. I think one.
Do you have a picture with him, or was
we
this
have
before?
a picture all together on
that's
stage.
nice.
Yeah.
No selfies.
No, some people did that at the stage door, and then they posted it into the group chat because they really used the moment.
Yeah.
And then I was a bit annoyed that I missed the moment, but it is what it is.
It is.
I work together with Steven Schwartz. That's all I need to do. And need to
definitely.
have.
No, I'm just asking him because I had a moment not too long ago when I actually met Andrew Lloyd Webber in London, and that was. Cheers. But that was like one of my dream moments as a musical theater lover. Because one of my first absolute loves of musical theater was Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, and it was such a big, or is such a big part of your life still.
And I mean, also, like, he's done so many of my, like, Sunset Boulevard, Evita, Cats, Starlight Express. You know, there's so many shows that Jesus Christ Superstar. Long story short, I was invited to the last performance of Evita in London by Tim Rice, who came to see our production of Chess. And at that time, I didn't know that I was going to be invited into this like secret little room with just very few people. So I was there like half an hour before the show, having champagne. And Andrew Lloyd Webber just walked in like a normal person because he is a normal person.
Yeah.
But it was such a surreal evening, standing around just hearing them all talk about, obviously, the show and everything. And then I didn't dare ask him for a picture before the show. And then in the intermission, we went back to this same room and you know, like you feel the minutes sort of ticking down and like, oh my God, am I going to be cringe, as the young people say, if I ask him, like, this is going to be so embarrassing. But it's like, you know what? It might be I might never meet this man again. And it's been my dream. Yeah. So I don't fucking care. Sorry for swearing if I'm cringe or annoying right now. So like most of the people had already started going down to the theater again, and so I just asked him, and I said, you know, I've been such a huge fan, like since I was 12. Can I please have a picture? And he was so lovely. He was like, of course you can, darling. And he put his arm around and I was like shaking. The picture is a little blurry.
It's a wonderful picture.
But like I did it, so I'm so happy to have that picture. So yeah, sometimes you just have to go for it. Yes. That was my moment, and I have the picture.
And must have felt amazing being in that room with all the people.
You know, the thing is that during when we were actually there, because I spent in total over an hour with these people, and it was me, it was the head of BBC, it was Jamie Lloyd, the director, it was the producer. It was so many, you know, like really influential people in the musical theatre and entertainment business in the UK. And it just felt like a very normal situation. Because, we're all working in the same business. It wasn't until after the show, when I walked from the theatre back to my hotel, that it kind of hit me. And then I got into this very weird high, almost.
Flying.
Yeah, I felt like I felt like I was like kind of floating back to the hotel. And you know,
wonderful.
Like my idea of what was happening, because it was one of the last sort of warm days. It was September 6th. Like I'm never going to forget this ever.
That date, no.
But so it was very warm still. It was not completely dark out yet. And I was walking back towards the hotel. And it kind of felt like it was just this glow over the city. And like, I remember thinking like, this is, you know, where the end credits of the film of my life is going to happen. My main character movie, you know, it was, I get goosebumps all over my body thinking about it, because the show was so wonderful as well. The Evita production with Rachel Zegler, she was phenomenal. Like the whole show was phenomenal. And yeah, it was a surreal thing. But yeah, that's how the movie about my life is going to end, is like me floating through London in this glow, and the end credits roll by with some beautiful music.
Yes. Crazy.
So yeah, sometimes you have those moments, you know, and I think it's really, really important to enjoy it. Like you said, with your moment on a stage at the Broadhurst, you know, singing Anastasia and like that whole thing. You have a few of those moments throughout your life or throughout your career that is just like,
they get you through all of this fight sometimes. It's a beautiful job, but it's also a crazy business, and it's sometimes so isolated, and you always have to fight for so much stuff that from the outside, for people who don't work in the industry seems so so natural, and that you don't have to work for them. Whenever people ask me, "Oh, really? You had to audition again?" I never thought you would have to audition for getting musical roles, and I'm standing there and being like, yes. And I mean, from 10 auditions a year or even more, you get like this one yes, and the other ones are all no's, and you always have to compare yourself. Even if the pool, of course, is smaller, the higher you're getting in the job and the more experienced you are, but it's still, you still have to prove yourself. And now I don't have that innocence anymore, and now I'm not naive anymore. I know what it takes, but also, of course, knowing the business a lot better. So sometimes it's not getting easier by having experience. I don't know how you feel.
No, I think sometimes the more you know, sort of the less you know. You know what I mean?
And the more heavier it feels, or you don't want to disappoint I don't know, whoever, yourself, the group, the society. It's tricky. It's a tricky business.
How do you feel about getting older? I mean, I'm not again saying that you're by any means getting old yet, but you're moving maybe from the very sort of young girl things. You still can play quite young though.
And that's a bit tricky for me, because...
How do you feel about that? Because I feel like a lot of the artists that I talk to that have sort of your similar build, and you know, they get to play very young roles for a long time, and they actually start craving playing more mature roles and stuff. Are you there yet?
I think I'm agreeing with that, that what you just said, because it's tricky. Of course, a lot of casting people are still pushing you into those younger roles, which can be cool. But when it's about playing young women there, and if it's not an updated feminist version of the musical or the play, then it feels a bit weak. And now the older I get, I always felt that, even with 24 in my early 20s, I always felt that, but now I'm feeling an even bigger responsibility, because I have a certain standing, and I need to do something with my role, and I want to say something. I want to be a strong woman on a stage and inspire other women, and I'm really, really scared that to play a weak role and having to have nothing to say. That's a really big fear that probably won't happen, because you always have something to say if it's a well-written role and well-written musical. But it's not easy, and I would say I'm in between that transition now. I'm ready for more roles, but of course, I also need to start looking a bit older. But I already have a lot of gray hair, so
no one can.
You can't see it now, but when I put my hair back, it's like all gray, and I actually love it. But it also doesn't really fit together with my outer experience.
I'm like, no.
After podcast, I'm putting my back hair for you, then you can see it.
I can see it.
But it's a crazy
Are there
time.
any roles that you wouldn't do because you would feel they're too weak, or is there anything where you feel like I wouldn't want to do that, or that show in particular?
was in the final, absolute secret talk. I mean, I can now talk about it. I was in the final for Rebecca, for Ich.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I felt that the creative team was asking for a certain kind of woman I don't want to play on stage.
Okay.
And I felt that during audition and getting notes, and I was asked to play more innocent and to act less smart.
Yeah.
It was their choice, but in that moment I was sitting on a chair and I was asked to do the scene again and to sing the song again, and I was thinking for myself, no, I can't
feel this.
It's we're not clicking in that moment, and then obviously it also didn't work out because I also decided to not do that and follow the notes in that moment, because I was also too scared to do it. And it didn't feel right. And this is what I'm feeling sometimes when I'm getting offers for certain roles. Also, I turned 30 last year, and since then I really have the feeling that I learned to say no to offers also. I'm not saying yes to every offer, which is a big privilege that I have that possibility actually to say no and to make a plan and to see what's best for me and what I really want to do. But I also needed to learn it and to be brave enough to say no, and then maybe having a little gap or a break. And it's important to learn that.
Yeah, definitely. And that is something that's really scary. And for a lot of, I will say that for a lot of the young people just starting out, you need to gather experience first.
Yes, you need to do everything.
Yeah, so But once you reach a certain level, then obviously it can definitely be a good thing to start saying no to things that don't feel right. I feel as a producer that I would prefer someone to actually turn down an offer if they're not really interested.
Yeah,
because
it's interesting to say
because
that.
I can't know if you really want this job or not. Like, I only see that you're here auditioning and that maybe I really liked your audition. But I've had experiences with people who have then said yes to a job and they come with a negative or bad energy to rehearsals.
Or a lot of question marks and not feeling connected to...
Yeah, or just like you feel like they said yes because they didn't have anything else. And they just don't come with a good energy into a group. Or I think maybe I've gotten better at reading that now, but sometimes it happens and you're doing like the whole show and the whole group a disservice. Like if you feel like you've now come to a place where I only want to do first cast or I only want to do like big roles, and you don't have something that year or whatever, and you decide that, okay, just to make money, I'll go into the ensemble and be a cover. I feel like if you make that decision, you have to make that decision with your whole heart.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to go in and do this now, and it's going to be great.
And totally be there in the group and getting strength from that.
But if you go in there and you constantly feel a bit bitter and pissed off that you didn't get what you wanted, that is going to bleed into every... you and... You're gonna
the production.
Yeah, but it's going to that energy is gonna bleed into the environment of the show, whether you want it to or not. And so I think, I mean, people need to work, obviously, but I just wish as a producer that sometimes you would, like when you decide that I want to do, like I'm saying yes to this job, then you're saying yes.
And you're
not,
really into
and not
it.
just like, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
It's really interesting
it's a mental,
to hear
like
that
it's
side.
a real mental decision that you have to make.
Yeah.
And be happy about the decision you made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and be in it. And
one of the things that I'm really excited about when it comes to this year's From Broadway to Duvemåla is Filip Hjalmelid. Because Philip is an amazing performer and I love him so much. But he was also very scared coming into this production because he hasn't danced much. And he was very clear with me that there would be absolutely no dancing. And he didn't want to do, like this, because he doesn't want to look like a fool. And there was a lot of fear. And Åsa Engman, who is our director and choreographer, I mean, she's such a lovely woman.
She's fantastic.
And she's like, well, just ease him into it. It's going to be fine.
Sneaking him in.
And we saw the show yesterday here in Stockholm. I'm not sure when this show is going to air, but we saw it yesterday. And the absolute joy on Philip's face doing all of these things that he was absolutely never going to do is so amazing
wonderful
to see. Yeah. And Åsa even teared up at one point because he looks so happy.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what you want. When someone comes into a project, maybe a little hesitant, a little scared, but then they jump and you can see someone grow so much. Like he's one of the best musical singers, not only in Sweden, one of the best musical singers I've heard.
Yes.
And for him to just throw himself into a lot of things that was very scary for him and to do it so well, I mean, I'm just so super proud of him.
Yes, yeah. I totally agree. And it's so crazy how we can all feel how much fun he's having now.
Oh, yeah.
And it brings us so much energy whenever
But have you felt that arc from him as well? From
definitely.
the first rehearsals?
Definitely, of course, yeah. I'm also not the best dancer. I think I can get through. And I'm not too scared of it because I know I need a little bit more rehearsals than other musical dancers or musical actors need. So at one point I was also stressing out a little bit a few days before the premiere. But I have to say, Åsa, she's fantastic. She always, whenever I apologize, because whenever I make mistakes, I apologize a lot and I'm being panicky and not being maybe a little bit grumpy as like Philip. He was like, shit, I fucked that up. Sorry for the bad language. But yeah, we were just like always connecting with each other, being a little bit scared about the dance moves because it's a lot at first with all the singing and it's a concert. So everything goes really, really quick. You don't have a scene to get in that mood for the choreography. But Åsa was amazing coaching us, and she was always telling everything will be fine. It's all good. And she was so calm and she gave us such a nice feeling that she's totally trusting us. Yeah. And that was helping a lot. And seeing Philip now the other day, he has that one moment before Lady's a Tramp. Yeah. And he's sprinting on stage and acting like, oh, the song is starting now. Yeah. And it looks so charming and it's such a nice moment. And I was just watching him and being like, oh, that was a cute walk. That was lovely. It's really, really great to see. But also the other people, how we're all growing as a group. Yeah,
absolutely.
And to see how all the concerts also help us to make the show even more alive now. Like the show is really growing.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing to also have that process because often with concerts you have one or two shows and then it's gone.
It's over,
so this is also really nice that we actually have the time to grow. And my heart is already aching when I'm thinking about the end. But we still have a few concerts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. But I was thinking also when you went to do Bingolotto, the Swedish TV show, I mean, the moment I told Philip that you were doing Ladies a Tramp on TV, like he was so pissed at me. Because he's like, I'm not doing it. I'm like, yes, you are. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, well, I'm your boss, so you are doing it. And he's like, no. But I think, first of all, you were both absolutely amazing, and I understand it's live TV.
It's nerve-wracking. But
it was so lovely. And I think again for for him, who has shown everyone that he is a phenomenal singer, to show something completely different is going to be so helpful for him, in the future.
Definitely.
And just to show how, versatile he actually is.
Yeah.
How was it for you to be on Swedish? You've done a lot of TV in Germany.
Yes, a bit. I just thought it was funny. In Germany, I needed 6 years to be in German TV for the first time.
Yeah.
And here in Sweden, it took me 2 weeks. So it was a nice experience. But it was really, really fun and really cool. And of course, I didn't know the show too well. It was so funny that we got to play bingo, lotto, not bingo, lotto, right?
Yeah.
And the people from the cast were explaining me days before how
you play it.
Yeah, I have to do the dut.
Yeah,
dutta.
Yeah.
And of course it was quite stressful. And at one point I didn't understand a certain game, but the other ones weren't understanding that as well. But it was so nice and such a crazy experience, and also that I got to sing that song with Philip and then that ensemble song. It's crazy. It was wonderful, and it's also one of these moments. I was standing there, and before I had to go on stage and be like, oh yeah, this is also a really special moment. Enjoy it as long as it lasts. Yeah.
Do you still have any dream roles left? Or do you have, obviously, because you need to move into the older ones, but do you have something that, this is something that I definitely want to cross off my bucket list?
Since I already played Glinda and Anastasia, like a few of my dream roles are already done. Of course, I would always be happy to play them again. Maybe on West End or Broadway. That would be wonderful. Yeah. I would love to play Elisabeth.
Yeah, the German musical.
Yeah, it's a really, really tough, amazing, inspiring, strong role.
Yeah.
But I try not to plan too much because it never works as you plan it.
No, you don't have to plan it, but sometimes, you can have something that's like,
and I manifest exactly, and I manifest what I try to manifest for myself, and what I really wish is just like playing strong female roles and doing productions where I belong and I feel seen and I feel appreciated and right.
Yeah.
I think this is my main goal because. Sometimes it doesn't really matter what kind of role you're playing. Also, Jane in Tarzan, it was never really on my plate or on my dream list. And then getting into that show, I was like surprised because they also changed the role a lot and they modernized it a lot and made it more feminist, the character. And then I was actually like so surprised how much it touched me and how much I was allowed to put into that role of myself and how well it worked and how wonderful it become and every night now when we're doing You'll Be in My Heart together with Martin in the show here, I still feel that in my heart how much this production and this role actually meant for me. So I also I'm just dreaming for the right moment and for the right role in the right moment, because I think this can give you a wonderful career and can give you so much strength in being a musical artist, and this is what I try to manifest.
I think with those absolutely wise, intelligent, strong female words, we will make a last toast. You need, I think,
Thank you.
a top off again before we.
Woohoo.
Yes.
You want more? You're good?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming to Musikalpodden, one of Germany's absolute biggest musical theater stars, Judith Caspari.
Tack så mycket.
Skål.
Skål, Victoria.
Skål.